Once upon a time, in a lush meadow filled with tall grasses and colorful wildflowers, there lived a grasshopper named Peetie. Peetie was a curious and adventurous insect, always hopping around and exploring new places. His bright green body and long legs made him an expert jumper, and he loved to leap high into the air, feeling the wind rush past him.
Not far from Peetie's favorite meadow, in a quaint little garden blooming with roses, daisies, and sunflowers, lived a ladybug named Daphne. Daphne was a gentle and kind-hearted ladybug, known for her vibrant red wings adorned with black spots. She enjoyed spending her days basking in the sun and nibbling on aphids, which kept the garden plants healthy and happy.
One sunny morning, Peetie decided to venture beyond his usual meadow and explore the garden where Daphne lived. He hopped along merrily, admiring the beauty of the wildflowers and the buzzing of the bees. As he neared the garden, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. I wonder what new adventures await me here, he thought to himself.
Meanwhile, Daphne was busy tending the flowers, making sure no pesky aphids were harming the plants. She noticed a new visitor approaching and fluttered her wings in curiosity. Who could this be, she wondered. As Peetie hopped closer, Daphne saw the grasshopper and smiled warmly. "Hello there, welcome to our garden," she greeted.
Peetie was taken aback by Daphne's friendliness. He hadn't expected such a warm welcome. "Hi, I'm Peetie. I was just exploring and couldn't resist checking out this beautiful garden," he replied with a grin. Daphne introduced herself, and the two insects quickly struck up a conversation, sharing stories about their lives and adventures.
As they chatted, a sudden gust of wind swept through the garden, causing Daphne to lose her balance and tumble off the flower she was perched on. Peetie, with his quick reflexes, leaped into action and caught her just in time. "Gotcha!" he exclaimed, setting her back on a nearby leaf.
Daphne blushed with gratitude. "Thank you, Peetie. That was quite the save," she said, her wings fluttering nervously. Peetie laughed and said, "No problem at all. What are friends for?" And from that moment on, Peetie and Daphne became the best of friends.
One day, as Peetie and Daphne were enjoying a leisurely afternoon in the garden, they heard a faint cry for help. Following the sound, they discovered a group of ants in distress. A large pebble had fallen, blocking the entrance of their nest. The ants were unable to move it and were in desperate need of assistance.
Peetie and Daphne exchanged determined glances. "We need to help them," Daphne said firmly. Peetie nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. Let's see what we can do." They approached the ants and assured them that they would do their best to move the pebble.
Peetie hopped around the pebble, inspecting it from all angles. "It's quite heavy, but I think with some teamwork we can move it," he said thoughtfully. Daphne flew to the top of the pebble and surveyed the situation. "I'll coordinate with the ants and make sure everyone's in position," she said.
With Daphne's guidance, the ants formed a line and began to push against the pebble. Peetie positioned himself at the base, using his powerful legs to lift and nudge the stone. Together, they heaved and pushed, straining with all their might.
Slowly but surely, the pebble began to move. The ants cheered, their tiny voices filled with hope and determination. With one final mighty effort, they managed to roll the pebble away from the nest entrance, freeing the ants.
The ants were overjoyed and expressed their heartfelt thanks to Peetie and Daphne. "We couldn't have done it without you," said the ant leader, his antenna twitching with gratitude. Peetie smiled and replied, "It was our pleasure. We're always happy to help."
As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the garden, Peetie and Daphne sat together reflecting on their adventure. "You know, Peetie, it's amazing that we can accomplish when we work together. Daphne said, her eyes twinkling.
Peetie nodded in agreement. Absolutely, Daphne. Today we learn the power of teamwork and kindness, and it feels wonderful to have made a difference. They both smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction and contentment.
The next day, as Peetie and Daphne were exploring the far end of the garden, they stumbled upon a small, shimmering pond. The water was clear and cool, surrounded by delicate lilies and tall reeds swaying gently in the breeze. The pond looked like a perfect place for a new adventure.
As they approached the water's edge, they noticed something peculiar. A small frog was sitting on a lily pad, looking very concerned. "Hello there," Peetie called out. "Is everything okay?" The frog looked up and sighed. "Oh, hello. My name is Freddie. I seem to have lost my way and can't find my way back to my pond."
Peetie and Daphne felt a pang of sympathy for Freddie. "Don't worry, Freddie," Daphne said reassuringly. "We'll help you find your way back home." Freddie's eyes lit up with hope. "Really? That would be wonderful."
They set off together, with Peetie leading the way and Daphne flying overhead to scout the area. As they journeyed through the garden, they encountered various challenges, from navigating dense thickets to crossing narrow streams.
At one point, they came across a particularly tricky spot where the path was blocked by a series of thorny bushes. Peetie scratched his head, trying to figure out a way through. Daphne, ever the problem solver, had an idea. "I'll fly over and see if there's a clearer path on the other side," she suggested.
Daphne flew gracefully over the bushes and found a narrow, thorn-free path. "This way," she called out. Peetie and Freddie followed her lead, carefully maneuvering through the safe passage. They emerged on the other side, relieved and grateful for Daphne's quick thinking.
As they continued their journey, they shared stories and laughed together, strengthening their bond with each passing moment. Peetie told funny tales of his high-flying adventures, while Daphne shared her experiences of tending to the garden.
Eventually, they reached a serene pond, much larger and more beautiful than the one they had left behind. Freddie's eyes widened with joy. "This is it! This is my home," he exclaimed, hopping excitedly towards the water.
Freddie thanked Peetie and Daphne profusely. "You two are the best friends anyone could ask for," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "Please come visit me anytime. I'll be here ready to share more adventures with you."
Peetie and Daphne smiled warmly. "We'd love that, Freddie," Peetie said. "We're so glad we could help you find your way back home." With a final wave, Freddie leapt into the pond, his joyful croaks echoing across the water.
As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Peetie and Daphne made their way back to the garden. They were tired but happy, knowing they had made a difference in Freddie's life.
Sitting on a soft patch of clover, Peetie and Daphne reflected on their day. "You know, Daphne," Peetie said thoughtfully, "today was another reminder of how important it is to be there for others. We may be small, but our actions can make a big impact."
Daphne nodded in agreement, her wings glistening in the fading light. "Absolutely, Peetie. And it's always better than when we work together. Together we can overcome any obstacle and help those in need."
They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the stars twinkle in the night sky. The garden was peaceful and calm, a perfect ending to their adventurous day.
The next morning, Peetie and Daphne woke up to a bright and sunny day. The garden was buzzing with life, and they were eager to see what the new adventures awaited them. As they set off, they couldn't help but feel grateful for their incredible bond and the joy they found in helping others.
Their friendship continued to blossom, filled with laughter, kindness, and a shared sense of purpose. They explored new places, met new friends, and faced every challenge with courage and teamwork.
One day, As they were wandering near the edge of the garden, they stumbled upon a small injured butterfly. Its delicate wings were torn, and it seemed unable to fly. Peetie and Daphne exchanged worried glances. "We need to help this little one," Daphne said softly.
Peetie gently scooped up the butterfly and carried it to a safe spot under a shady leaf. Daphne flew off to gather some nectar to feed the butterfly, while Peetie carefully examined its wings. "Don't worry," he said soothingly. "We'll take care of you."
With Daphne's help, they nursed the butterfly back to health. They watched over it, making sure it had enough food and rest. Slowly but surely, the butterfly regained its strength and began to flutter its wings once again.
The day finally came when the butterfly was ready to take flight. Peetie and Daphne cheered as it soared into the sky, its wings shimmering in the sunlight. "Fly high, little friend," Peetie called out, "and remember, you're never alone."
As they watched the butterfly disappear into the distance, Peetie and Daphne felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They knew that their bond and their actions were making the world a better place, one small step at a time.
And so the story of Peetie and Daphne reminds us all of the power of friendship, kindness, and teamwork. It teaches us that no matter how small we may feel, our actions can make a big difference in the lives of others. Good night, dear listeners. Remember to cherish the bonds you share, to be kind, and to always look for the joy in your adventures. Sweet dreams.